So good afternoon, everybody. And once again, many greetings from the Office of the Ministry of Ayush in Croatia, which is in the Indian Embassy of Croatia. And on their behalf, we are organizing this regular Zoom webinars with esteemed speakers and the masters in different fields of Ayurveda yoga. And today we have our dear guest and great master expert in Kalari Payatu and Marma Chikitsa, Manjunath Acharya. So I would like to introduce him shortly. Manjunath Acharya studied Veda Agama, Ayurveda, and Jyotisha Kalari Payatu under Guru Shishya Parampara in various Veda Gurukulas. So this is very ancient system of education. Studying with the master and living with the master, and this is the best way of education and for the transmission of the knowledge in original form and keeping the traditional knowledge pure for the future generations. And primary and secondary education in Prabodhini Gurukula, Hariharapura, Sringeri, Shiva Moga, and higher education in Tantra Vidyapitam, Aluva in Kerala. And presently, Acharya Ji is teaching and training and guiding Kalari Payatu, Ayurveda and Jyotishya and Agama Prayogas at multiple Gurukulas and institutions in India and in the Europe and in the Gulf countries. So he has a lot of experience in that field, and we are very happy to listen to his expertise. And I would like now I would ask Mr. Manohar Lalji, he is Second Secretary of Culture and Head of Chancery of the Embassy of India in Croatia, to address our speaker.
Thank you very much, respected Jadranko-ji. You are a genius person, and I have seen you are the only person who has so much connection, so much vast knowledge in Ayurveda and yoga, and you have a connection all over the world. And every week, sometime twice in a week, you bring experts from various parts of the world, especially from India. So today you have brought Acharya Manjunath, who is an expert in Marma Chikitsa and Kalari. So now we will have a today different session. This is a little bit different from Ayurveda and yoga. So I would like to give mic and platform again to Jadranko-ji to start the webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Manohar-ji. And please, Manjunath-ji, you can start with your presentation.
Okay. Namaste. Let me start with a Shanti mantra. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhinaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, let me start the subject. Before that, let me respect who created this stage, specifically from the Manohar Lalji and His Grace, our Ambassador Srivastavji, and also the most important Jadranko-ji, who is really creating the stages for specifically like Vedic sciences, which is very ancient from the India. So first of all, I would like to give my obeisances for these highly elevated souls. This is first thing. Second thing, who are attending this a small webinar, for all of you, my gracious. So let's enter into the subject. The subject is the Marma Chikitsa and Ayurveda. And specifically, when we speak about the marmas, marmas is not really restricted at only Ayurveda or yogic sciences. Marmas are a thorough subject which can be used in multiple platforms of the knowledges, at the same time on practical approaches. So marmas are basically an anatomical structure of the body. So marmas can be used and to elevate body to different dimensions. Some other sciences like sister subjects like Kalari. I don't know how many are aware of Kalari. So Kalari is basically a Vedic warfare. It is an military science and Vedic parade. So why the Marma is extensively using in Kalari? This is the question mark always arise. Because when we think about the warfare, military sciences and military medicine, I don't know how many are heard about military medicines. It is so much used in allopathy and English medicines. But when it comes to the Ayurveda, it is really, we are in an progressive levels, not really very advanced stage. So there is many factors why we are not entered still in emergency medicines and military medicines, a warfare medicines. So this is where Marma comes. Because as I mentioned, Marma is a specific and very important factor of body anatomy called Anga Shastra. How we extensively use Nadi Pariksha, Nadi Chikitsa, simply like that. In yogic sciences, we so much talk about chakras, kundalini, awakening. But in between, in yoga, we talk about so much about the chakras, kundalinis, awakening the conscious level. Correct. Simply in Ayurveda, we talk about so much about the Nadi Pariksha, Nadi Chikitsa. So in basically, when it comes to the Vedic body anatomy, these are the three stages: the nadis and the chakras, the kundalini. In between, that factor is called marmasthana. The marmasthana. Marmasthana means what? This is used in yogic sciences. The marmasthans be used in military sciences, and marmasthana also used in Ayurveda. Because this factor, the marma, the fact of marma is very much important in medical sciences. So in between the nadis and the kundalinis, in between there is a point that is called marmas. In Sanskrit, let me come to that Kalari to marmasthanas before I am touching the Ayurvedic point. Basically, in Kalari we use not only Marma Chikitsa, the therapeutical Marma. Before that, there is one more subject called Marma Vidya, Marma Kala. So what exactly Marma Vidya? Before we are going to touch a healing perspective in order of understanding Ayurveda and also an Kalari Chikitsa. So before, let's understand what is Marmasthana, what is Marma Vidya, what is Marma Kala. So this is very important before we go to the therapeutical marmas. So I will bring the some of the factors even in the Ayurveda, even in the military, like Kalari too. So basically, marmasthanas means it is a place, maybe you are already heard about it, where the prana, the life energy, what we say in yogic, in Ayurveda, the life force, where exactly this force, this life, this energy take a rest, where it's take the rest. These spaces called marmasthanas. This is exactly, you can say, a point where can be traffic to be cleared. It is like a junction of the bodies where the life force rests. That is exactly called Marma Sthana, where Marma located. That is the point where life force alive, where life force is awakened always, where life force always aware. This is the exact point called Marma Sthana. This is the point of Marmas. Okay, let's come to the next part. What exactly Marma? Okay, what exactly Marma? Let's go back to the Sanskrit. Okay, Marma means Maranam Dayitva iti Marmaha. What exactly the meaning of Maranam? The Maranam means the death, which brings the death. That exact space called Marmani. This is what in Sanskrit exact meaning. Which Maranam Dhayitva, which brings the death when it is affected. That exact point when it affects from different objects, it may damage, it may accident, anything. When it is get affected from the third object, when it causes a death, this is called Marmani. This place affected means that exact point called Marmani. In Sanskrit, a meaning. Maranam iti dayitvam Marmani. This is what is mentioned in the Amarakosha in Sanskrit scripture. So hopefully you understand what exactly Marma. Okay. So let me bring 2-3 questions. When I said the place where the life force alive, this is one factor. Another factor, because when you understand Sanskrit, you have to understand in different context. As I said, Marma is connected with sister subjects, not only one subject. Okay, not only Ayurveda, not only yogic. It is also connected with Kalari too. And also it is connected with Tantra. And it is also connected with Agama Prayogas of the Vedic sciences. There is multiple subjects involved with the Marmani. So the two factor is very important before entering the next questions and next understandings. The Marma means the where life force alive, where life force stays. At the same time, in Amarakosha, even in Samhitas, it is very clearly mentioning that Maranam mitidayitvam marmamaha means which brings the death, which brings the full stop for the life, also called Marmani. You can understand here 2 factors. Marma means a life force, same time There is an answer here only. When this life force affected very severely, very seriously, it can cause death. A simple understanding of marmaha, a just word of marmaha in Sanskrit. Okay. So hope you understand this, the word marmaha. Okay. And also when it is not only brings death, okay, the word marana dhayitva, marana iti dhayitva, karatva, karakatva, which brings the death. Marana sadrusha rujaha means not only brings death, and also it brings the ruja. In Sanskrit, ruja means the severe pain, heavy pain, okay, which brings the heaviest pain at the same time. Marana sadrusha. Marana sadrusha means when you get affected from this, a point affected from the object, you will get the pain like a death pain, also called marmaha. Okay, this is mentioned by Shushrota. So basically, you have to understand two things. Marma means it's a life force. It's a very strong point in your body. Here I will add, there is one more subject from the Ayurveda, one more statement. You have one more statements written in Samhita called Trimarma. Mahamarma, Trimarmiya, Mahamarmiya. Maha means the great, Marmani, the great marmas. Okay. So you consider the three great marmas in Ayurveda mentioned. One is Siraha, the part of head. The second is Hrudayaha, the heart. The third is Bastihi, okay, where the wind located. These three is in one alignment. Okay. So this is the Acharyas, the sages of Ayurveda called Trimarmiya, the great marmas. Okay. So this is where marma will start. Okay. Let's talk about the Kalari Payat. As I mentioned, as I initiated, the what is exactly Marma Vidya, the Marma Kala in warfare, in Vedic methodology of warfare, a Vedic methodology of military sciences. In Vedic methodology of warfare in Kalari Payattu, we use three stages. One is Mai Payattu called combat techniques. Second is Sadhana Abhyasa, the weaponaries. In weaponry, there is two subcategories. One is Koltari, another is Ankatari. Koltari means it is a wooden weapons. Ankatari means the metallic weapons. Then comes to the healing part. There is a word in our gurus. Normally, when I learned under my guru, he mentioned one word, one statement. Who is a good warrior? Who is good warrior? A good warrior is who known the body, who understood the body. When he is in the combats, if he knows how to heal the damages, he is the real warrior. Not just fight, not just combat, not just offending. If you know defense, if you know healing, once you get affected, how to heal the wounds, how to reverse the damages. He is the real warrior according to the Vedic science. Okay. Martial art means in Shastra, in Vedic scriptures, it is not just fight. It's not just fight. Okay. Through the fight means what? It is connected with, there is other factors, like if you are Rajoguna, if you are passionate, then only you take this subject. the fighting techniques. Through the Rajoguna, through the passion, you will take your body into the another dimension. So basically here, the fight, when you practice fight, through that fight, you will go to the another levels of the platform of the life. So in Vedic methodology of fight, it is not just simply a fight. By doing the fight, you will you progress in another levels of the defenses. So when in Kalari Payattu, it's not just combat, weaponry, then it comes to the body anatomy called Uruchil. Then comes to the Marma Kala. So basically Marma Kala in Kalari Payattu used to damage these exact point. As I mentioned, in Ayurveda also it is 108 points. In Kalari Payattu also we consider there is 108 points. There is sub points also, okay, according to a multiple sampradayas. For example, the Marmakala is extensively practicing not only in Kalari, and also there is one more martial art called Silambam in Tamil Nadu. In Kerala, we practice Kalari Payattu. These both, Silambam and Kalari Payattu, both are warfare. In both these subjects, a warrior, a practitioner practice healing techniques. Once he learned a martial arts, a defense, a combat, a weaponry, after he go to how to heal the things, how to heal the damages, how to repair the things once you get damaged, once you hit the person. So how to heal it? So you will learn extensively. That is where the marmas comes. So specifically, these all methodology of defense, methodology of weapons we use to exact these points, 108 points, to damage this point. As I mentioned, marma means maranam iti karatvam. So when if you are a martial artist, if you are a fighter, you must understand the body anatomy, how the body works, the mechanism, the biomechanism, how it works. Okay. So this supposed to be understood in the Vedic warfare. This is how a Gurukula Paddhati, as Jadrankoji mentioned, it's not just a subject. It's a complete practical approach in traditional way of teaching under the Guru. Okay. So the practitioner practices basically the body anatomy, how to hit, how to counter a third body. Okay, where this exact point is located, how much strength supposed to be put in that point. Not only without weapon, with weapon. When we use weapon, these weapons we use in this exact point, from the wooden weapons and also from metallic weapons. Then it comes to the marma kala. This is why the marmas are a very important practices in India, with not only Ayurveda, with other subjects. Okay. So once the practitioner understands the marmasthanas, these 108 points, these life force points, these junctions, once he understood, then he start to work on these spaces. Then how to heal it, that is called Marma Chikitsa. Yeah, you can say Kalari Chikitsa. This will be practiced in thousands of years in Kerala and also in Karnataka and also in Tamil Nadu. This is called Tulunadan. There is a Tulunadan style of Kalari Payattu, that is called North Malabar and South Kerala and also the Tamil Nadu. Here in these two traditionals, in Tamil Nadu, they practice the sage of Agathiyar. It is a Shiva Parampara where they practice this warfare, which is involved Marma Kala, Marma Chikitsa, according to Guru Shishya Parampara. There is no books. Books is there in Tamil text are there, but still they are practicing under the Guru Shishya Parampara, because this is completely practical approach Unless you don't understand the body anatomical structure, extensive practices regularly, we don't understand the marmas, because it's dangerous. As I said, maranamiti, it brings the death when you go to the a serious approach with this science. So one is the traditional is Agastya, the sage Agatya, which practices called Silambam, a martial arts style. In Kerala, the sage called Parashurama is incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Called Rama received this whole science of Kalari Payattu, Marma Kala and Marma Chikitsa from the Lord Shiva. This is how this Guru Shishya Parampara, it is beginned. And we still practice in Kerala. The same way, combat, then anatomy, then healing of the marmas. So this is the some factors of the Kalari Payattu and Marma Kala and Marma Chikitsa. This is where we practice extensively and primary practices through the marmas. Because when we go to the Ayurveda, because I understood Ayurveda very well because of my Sanskrit backgrounds. In Ayurveda, when you understand, we have a various scriptures from the Charaka Samhita to Shalya Tantra, like Shushruta Samhita. In each scriptures, we have a Marma Dhyaya. There is a separate course of script for Marmas only, called Marma Adhyaya. Okay. So here comes the Ayurveda. Okay. In Ayurveda also, Acharyas from Charaka to Vagbhata, all the three Acharyas mentioned marmas are 108 point. As I mentioned, it is a life force through Kalari Payattu. Even in Ayurveda, we mentioned this is a point, a very sensitive zone, very vulnerable point. It is very sensitive point. And also we say which the prana exactly located this space called marmas. Even in Ayurveda, we clearly state this from the Acharyas. So when you practice even Ayurveda, when you practice marmas through Ayurveda, there is a lot of references from the Acharyas. Okay, how can be marma is affected? Marma affected from various reasons. Okay, so he clearly stated which kind of agathas will happen. What kind of agathas will affected to marma? So basically he says in all the scriptures it is mentioned, first is the pranantaka marmas. This is the first marmas, a category of marma called pranantaka marma. What is exactly pranantaka marmas? This is the question. The pranantaka marmas means in Ayurveda, according to Ayurveda, which brings a sudden death. Or you can consider a 3 to 5 aura, means hardly he has the time of 6 hours or 8 hours or 3 lagna, means hardly like 6 to 7 hours. The person is going to die. So Acharyas categorize this first category called pranantaka, pranahara marmas, which immediately takes the person life force. The kind of damages called pranahara marmas. Okay. As I mentioned, trimarma, the maha marmas. As I said, Shira, Rudaya, and Basti. Whenever the person get affected, a seriously damage to Shira, to head, to heart, to Basti. If we don't find any treatment within 6 to 8 hours, he will die. This is a small definition of the pranahara marmas. I'll give you some small example to understand what is exactly this is pranahara marmas. For example, you think you're on the way to road, there is a small accident. You find out, if I understood, there is accident. A person got affected from a object, maybe to his head. Okay. Understood, he don't got any bleeding outside. There is no damage outside. There is no scratch even. There is no external blood scratches also. Okay. But that person, because of that, a forced connection with the object, the person will fall down. It's simple example. Okay. So he may go to coma or he may go to sudden death. Okay. So what we will do normally, we will take him to the emergency medicine, emergency care. So they will go in the ICU. Maybe after 6-7 hours, the person will die. That person got affected a point where that marma is affected. There is no damage externally, but internally bleeded. The internally, what exactly we say, marmas are affected very severely. There is a possibility it can inside a bleeding may happen, a clot may happen, the person will die. This is a small example. It may from the third object. Yeah, when you are walking, there is a fall down to your head part, or when somebody, even when we see a domestic violence like wife and husband, maybe husband, husband will hit to like these spaces like ear, the back of this place, and the next to your eye or backside of your the head. These are the spaces called, there is a 36 marma points in your upper head only. Okay. So highly sensitive, where the life force is very active. When you got hit, even by hand, okay, even by hand, because you have lack of muscle in your head part. It is just only bone, a skeletal bone. It is just you have one angula. One angula in Sanskrit means it's just like, in your hand, there is a 3 lines. The first line called one angula. If you were the force of the object, if it enters to the just one angula of your any kind of part of your the body, near your eyes, near your ears, near your nose, okay, or next to your neck, or back of your head, or upper of your neck, the person will not get damage externally, but internally will get bleed and he will die immediately. Okay, these are the spaces. This is the space called pranahara marmas, which brings a sudden death. Okay, which brings the sudden death. This is called a pranahara marmas. Okay, there is some other marmas which is mentioned also in the second. Is a kalantaka marma. What is this kalantaka marma? See, kalantaka marmas, the first category is the pranantaka. The second comes to the kalantaka, kalahara marmas. After some time, once he get damaged, maybe it takes a 15 days, a 20 days or month, the person will lose his life. That's called kalantaka pranahara marmas. Then it comes to the vishal yagna marmas. Okay, that is also once you are affected, there is a severe bleeding. If the person not get immediate treatments, surely there is a possibility he will die. For examples like paralysis, any kind of MSA multiple system atrophy cases, this is also take due duration of some time, like MSA, PSP, there is a very severe bedridden cases. You can see in your patients kind of, these all comes this category. If you don't find right a treatment, the person will die. That is called Vishala Marmas. Then it comes to the Vaikalyakara. Vaikalyakara means in Sanskrit, which brings the deformity, which brings the handicap. It's happen normally in the fight, in the warfare. When you get affected from the weapons, normally his physical appearance will get, distract or damages. So there is a deformity by walking, by moving. Sometimes Vaikalyakaraka consider also the bedridden cases. If you see any bedridden cases, this comes to this category called Vaikalyakaraka. Angavaikalyakaraka. This is also a category which is mentioned. The another category, it is mentioned from the Acharyas of Rujakara. Ruja means in Sanskrit which brings the pain. If you see in this world, there is so much Vadi, so much diseases, disorders, which is completely painful. That means the marmas are affected. Somehow, one or two, it is affected very severely. So the person is really suffering from this pain called Rujakara, Rujahara, Marmas. So these are the 5 kind of categories of the Marmas, which is mentioned from the Acharyas. This is where the Kalari Chikitsa, the Kalari Payattu, where we exactly work. We try to, in martial art, we practice us to, give pranahara also. When we are using fight, when we use the weapons, our goal is obviously it's a sportive way. But in ancient time, it is not like that. In ancient time, we are going to face the enemies. Practically, we are facing the enemies. There is no such sports. It is basically we are going to fight, practically a real fight. So our focus is to pranahara, to kill the enemy. Okay, so it may Vaishalyagna, it may Kalahara Marmas, or it may Vaikalyakaraka, or it may Rujakaraka. So this is called warfare Marmas, Marma Vidya. This is called how to offend him, how to hit him, how to counter him, where to hit him, in which place exactly you have to use weapon, in which strength you have to use strength to exact location, where to use the weapons. There is multiple weapons. We use in 9 weapons. Exactly how to use these weapons to this exact location where a life force located, where life force allotted. This is called Marma Vidya. Ya Varma Kalai. Okay. So hope you understood what is Marma Kala. Once you damage the person, once you damage the object, then it comes to the Marma Chikitsa. That is where comes to the healing part in Kalari Payattu. So we practice certain methodology which is vary from Ayurveda. So I will bring some factors now in front of all of your feet. Okay, some of the fact is in Ayurveda, as I mentioned, Acharyas mentioned all the signs, symptoms, classification, everything. Acharyas are written in scripture. It is mentioned. It may Charaka Samhita, ya Shushruta Samhita, ya Ashtanga Hridaya, or Madhava Nidana. All the scriptures mentioned what is Marma, where it is located, how to use the Marma, what is the specification of Marma, and how it get affected. As I said, what kind of categories of Marma. Okay. Let me talk one more fact. Okay. There is in any corner of scripture, You just go and find out. There is no any corner which Acharyas from Charaka to Vagbata not written about Marma Chikitsa. This is a statement from my side, okay? There is no such statement about treatment of Marma, therapy of Marma. As I said, there is a very clear statements of Aghata, how to attack, classification, where it is, exactly how much internal place it is located, everything written. But when it comes to the Nidhana, therapy, healing, Charaka not mentioned in Charaka Samhita. Even in any corner you find, you check, next some more years, you will not find even a word about Marma Chikitsa. One word you don't find. Go to Shalya, go to Sushruta Samhita. Sushruta very clearly says, without the knowledge of Marma, without the knowledge of Marma, even you don't touch the body, you don't operate the body, you don't access the body. This is the statement from the Sushruta. And in Samhita of Sushruta, there is no single word of therapeutical Marma. How to treat the Marma? Never mentioned. Vagbata, you go to Ashtanga Hridaya, find out all the, each paper you check. Everything clearly mentioned. Marma Dhyaya is there, Abhigata is there. How to attack is there, where it is exactly, which point, where it is located. What is the Marma's head, what is the Marma's leg, what is the Marma's stomach, everything written, point to point, pin to pin. But when it comes to the Nidhana, when it comes to the healing, there is no one word of therapy. This is what in Ayurveda, if somebody is saying Marma Chikitsa, Marma therapy, you have to understand the reference. First of all, the first, when I started a military medicine, a emergency medicine, a warfare medicine. Warfare medicine means it's emergency. A warrior is died in the war field and he need emergency care. That is what allopathy is very succeeded today. That is where we are lack of. Ayurveda, where is lack of? Where we are very poor. This is the exact space. Emergency medicine, when it comes to the emergency medicine, we don't have any answers till now. Because there is no exact reference from Marmadhyaya, from the Acharyas. As I mentioned, there is other sister subjects like Silambam, like Kalari Payattu. They practices because they know the knowledge of the warfare, knowledge of military science. So they know the knowledge of how to heal it immediately. But when it comes to the theory, it is lost in Ayurveda. So there is so much importance we need to give to collaborate. A sister, a brother subjects of the Vedas. We have to bring together these all subjects, and there is so much need of a research. Because this is the exact space where Ayurveda needs to work so much. This is the exact space we are for. We have so much advance in medicine, in Kayakalpa, in Panchakarma, everywhere. When it comes to the emergency medicine, we are still poor. Because Marma, when it comes to the Marma, we are still a poor, because there is so much connection needed. There is so much disconnection happen throughout this year. So much things we lost. So this is the exact condition of Marma today. So there is so much need of practices, so much need of research in order to, when it comes to the Marma. Okay. So I don't blame anybody who practices Marma Chikitsa through Ayurveda, but it is very important factor because, as I mentioned, Marma has so much opportunities to elaborate through Ayurveda. It is so much needed space to do the so much research. Even in Kerala, in Kalari, each school of traditional school practices not whole 108 Marmas. It practice, some school is expert in only anesthesia. Some school only practices anesthetic Marmas. Some school practices only CNS Marmas, central nervous Marmas. Some school practices only musculoskeletal Marmas. Okay, because as I said, the science of Marma is very vast. It is connected with multiple subjects. Unless a person not understood yogic science, not understood military science, not understood a nature, the 5-element theory, he cannot access the Marmas. That is why the Shushruta mentioned one who knows time, one who knows the time, one who knows the space, and one who knows a situation, a geographical condition. He is called Vaidya. Vaidya means healer. He never said one who knows the herbs. He never said one who knows the fight. He never said one who knows the physiology is the doctor. He said one who knows the time. That is why we practice Nadi Pariksha. When you practice Nadi Pariksha, you must understand know the time, space, and the geographical value, the same body. Then only you can predict, you can against where it is damaged, exactly what happened, and how to heal, what is the Nidana. So this is the statement from Shushruta. Okay. So basically, to understood Marma, you need an exact understanding of the whole sum, not a teeny way. Okay. Even Ayurvedic Vaidyas, when they practice, after some years, they start to look into other things. They start to practice Jyotishya, because Jyotishya completely a Vedic mathematics. If you don't know mathematics, if you don't know maths, if you don't know time, if you don't know planetary understanding, then you cannot say exact the timings. So even Vaidyas practice the time. Vaidyas practice the exact science of Marma. To understand Marma, you need to have this wholesome contextual understanding. This is so important for Vaidya. So when we go for Marma and Marma science, this is through the Ayurveda, it is directly connected with a physiological and pathological way of practice. So obviously it's a dangerous space, as Acharya has mentioned. Don't touch at all Marma. Okay, that is why we just entangled with just to massage, just to rub the Marmas. It is not like that. It is the wrong way of practice. So, as I mentioned, there is so much need of research and practice through where we lost exactly this knowledge, and we need to continue the glory of Ayurveda, same time glory of Marma. That is why I said Marma is very deeper practice. It is understanding like a soul, the Brahma Jnana. It is not just a subject. It's once you understood Marma, you understood the soul, you understood the Brahma Jnana. Yes, there is a statement of Shankaracharya, it pinde tat brahmande. When you understood your body, you will understand the whole nature. So somehow I will submit my information and my practice and my experiences for now. So thank you very much for allowing me this stage and keep my knowledge in front of all of you. And thank you very much patiently listening me and understanding me for a Vedic practitioner. And thank you very much for all of you, and my best wishes and love to all attendees, and very much thankful to Indian Embassy and Manohar Lal ji, and also for Jadranko Miklak ji. Thank you very much. Best wishes and full of love. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, Manjunath Acharya ji. So it was a beautiful presentation. You gave such a big perspective about the knowledge of the Marmas from different sources, and relating also to the Jyotish and to the Vedic anatomy and the place and the time and many other things which are influencing our life and influencing the state of our life energy, how it is manifesting. And I remember there is one story about the relation of the moon and the nakshatras, the stars in the heaven. How the moon is passing through all those nakshatras and changing its strength. It has 4 phases, and there are 27 nakshatras, and you multiply by the 4 phases of the moon, you get 108 number. So then specific time when each marma would be good to be treated, in which region of the body, according to the movement of the moon.
True.
So,
Very true.
So there is many aspects to that to consider. And in Ayurveda, I remember there is one saying, Om Marmani Jivana Dharani, that the Marma is the source of life also. So it is the place where there is a connection between all our koshas. So if you touch the Marma on the surface of the body, you can touch the soul of the person also.
100%.
You can influence any level, the energy level, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Buddhimaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, through the science of the Marma. And then you can create healing effect, but the attention must be loving. So this is that Chikitsa maybe, which is still to be more put into attention of the people, that there is this is the treating the marmas with attention more, and the physical touch is just to point the prana sparsha where there will be attention there, but the quality of the attention is very important. That it should be loving attention, like the mother touching her child, and you know, when the child hits itself and there is a pain, and she is just touching that area, and then the pain is gone for the child. So in that sense, this is some approach like a Sukshma Marma approach, subtle. And but the great science is in this Dhanurveda and Vasishta Dhanurveda. Rishi Vasishta, who was the master of the Marma science, and transferred this to his disciple Rama, Lord Rama, and how he was hitting the Marma points with his arrows and being able to kill great demons. So I remember this as also we can see symbolic that knowledge of Dhanurveda is actually that you are able to establish in your consciousness that you reach the level of samadhi as close as possible, and being aware on that level, and then from that level put attention in different areas of the body where there is some knots of stress or some problems, and then that attention has like a laser the effect to dissolve these knots of stress. So to putting the attention from that level of consciousness on the granthis. It's like samyama practice on different areas of the body, and creates excellent healing for the body. And this is like a pratyahara, Marmasthana pratyahara method from Vasishta also. So thank you very much, and there is many more about that. And I wanted to ask you about the Noku Marma.
Noku Marma. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is still some masters are able to practice this.
Yes. Yeah, I can explain. See, in Kalari Payattu, we practice 3 kind of marmas called, one is Padu Marmam. Padu Marmam. Then comes to the Tottu Marmam. Then comes to the Nokku Marmam. Okay. So Padu Marmam means, Padu Marmam means it is kind of marmas which mentioned in Ayurveda, which is Trimarma, the great marmas. So in Kalarippayattu, we use Padu Marmas. It is exactly like 12 Padu Marmas. 12. There is a 12 Padu Marmas. It's a great marma we consider. We specifically use the martial science into exact this point. So next comes to the marmas are Tottu Marmas. When you touch the sparsha, when you touch, these marmas are like the 12 marmas, each one marma has the 8 Tottu marmas. Like one Padu marma is interconnected with the 8 Tottu marmas. So basically, 9 Tottu marmas. Basically, each Padu marma is access a 9 Tottu marmas. Means 12 into 9, it is 108 marmas. So basically in Kalari Payattu, when we attack, we focus on these 12 marmas, 12 Padu marmas. When you affected these 12 Padu marmas, normally the warrior will lose his weapon. Normally he will lose his weapon, then we attack some other moves. So when it comes to the Noku Marmam is a siddhi. Noku Marmam means when you watch, when you see the person and you try to weaken him by your eyes, that is called Noku Marmam. It is kind of siddhi, as you mentioned, one who have that Atma Jnana, one who has that loving towards all the objects, he can only access the Noku Marmas. Not everybody. Even by mantra, you cannot access the Noku Marmam. The basically mantra means what? Man plus tra. Man means when you are accessing the mantra through the mind, called mantra. Even by mantra, you cannot access the mantra. Even you cannot access the marma unless you are not a knowledgeable person. So beyond the material nature, or one who is completely material nature, kumarmas, not everybody. So it is kind of the stage is very elevation stage, is a no kumarmas. By mantra, by using mantra also, you can use the no kumarmas. But we lost, according to me, as of now, very, very, very rare people, very rare gurus you can find. According to me, even in Kerala, we have only one guru who is practicing only Nokumarmam. Otherwise, there is no other teacher. Even his own school is not able to find the Shishyas kind of. He is the only one person who is practicing Nokumarmam. There is so much research is also happening about Nokumarmam. As you mentioned, it is the state of Samadhi. When you want to access Nokumarmam, it is kind of a Samadhi where you are, where you can use for healing, not really for damage, not really for encounter. So it's an extensive practice, according to me.
Thank you very much for your answer, Manjunath Ji, and really you are a great knower of the Kalari and different aspects. So I would like to ask others who are joining the webinar, please ask questions from your side. We have time now for the questions. So if anybody has a question, because this is unique opportunity, we have such an expert from India, and this is the origin of that science and of the martial arts in the Kerala, because all the martial arts in the eastern part of the world are coming from Kerala, from the knowledge of Kalari, Payatu, and the Bodhidharma. You know, the Bodhidharma was the priest from the Kerala, and he brought that wisdom of Kalari to the China. And from that came out the Kung Fu and Tai Chi and Qigong, Lohan Kung, all kind of the practices which were spreading to the western side of the China and to the Japan as a karate, martial art, and but it came more on the gross level over the time.
Sure.
But still, they retained the knowledge of the energy points. In China, it's known as the acupuncture points. And then even in Japan and in China, they developed this called dim mak. Dim mak, hitting also these vital points and causing kind of even we have knowledge that from India it came to the Greece, that knowledge. And in the ancient story about Achilles and his fighting, you know, the great warrior Achilles, and who was invincible, but he was vulnerable just on the heel, and then one arrow hit him in the heel, and he died. That Marma was there affected. But if he got any other kind of damage, he was still alive. So that's why they say Achilles heel, you know, very sensitive point. So that knowledge came everywhere. I think in many cultures was present and used for the healing or for any purpose. Yes, please, if somebody would like to join with a question. But it's a beautiful science. Then you can really, if you know that science, you can be the master of your own body and the master of your own health.
I think no questions.
Yeah, it was so clear.
Yeah.
Your exposition was very clear. And so we hope to be able to have with you more time, you know, in the future and studying the Marma science.
Sure.
Here is the question one: how we can learn directly from the master? What is the possibility?
I will come. If you give me citizenship of Croatia, I will come directly.
So it's a very direct answer.
Yeah, direct answer. Thank you.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
For some knowledge of these marmas, it was always when I was learning in Kerala from Dr. Raju there, he said I was learning how to treat the marmas of the head, the head treatment of the marmas for the health purpose. And he said his master, he needed to serve his master for 4 years, that the master will be kind of convinced that he is a good person, that he will not misuse that knowledge. Then he taught him those the method, where are the points and how to treat and everything. So this is very, I can say, knowledge which needs to be protected, and that only the people which are, not having any idea of harming anybody should access to that knowledge for the benefit of the humanity only. And I know that all those who are connected, they are that category. So you could have many students.
It is always welcome also. Anytime, if you're really eager and really genuinely want to learn, it is always welcome. And as Jodranko mentioned, sir is mentioned, it is all about the love. Even though it is martial art, it is just we practice to beget that lovely essence, the true of the art. That is why we practice martial art. It is not really to fight somebody. It is a fighting within me. The Kalari Payettu is the fight not with others. It is a fight within you, so that you can get that achievement. So it's a inner fighting, like how Arjuna is fighting in the war field, simply like that, Kalari Payettu. So always welcome. And I am even eager to come and teach everybody. That is what my master said, go and teach. This is the knowledge. So that is also my real goal, because that is my master goal. I just want to carry. So please welcome. It is always open when you have that genuine intention. So always welcome.
So thank you very much, Manjunath Acharya, for your time and for your kindness and very openly speaking about that science. And for sure, there will be some opportunities further. And that there will be more interest and people, to learn directly from you. So thank you very much, and many greetings to all your students in Kerala.
Thank you.
Yes. And many greetings to everybody who joined this webinar. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.